What is going on, guys? Welcome once again to another Buy the Dips, Sell the Rips video. We're going to lock in today, guys, and even though things are a little bit choppy in the market, we are still going to be able to get some nice returns on some of these Buy the Dips, Sell the Rips. Last week, we actually got a nice little 6x, but today we're going to be taking a look not only at newer coins, we're also going to be taking a look at older coins and some coins that have a potential to kind of go higher than their all-time high. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So the first one I want to mention, and this is a coin I've been mentioning for quite a long time, all the way back here before it even ripped all the way to 27 mil. And this one is PsyopAnime. Now this one in particular, I've been doing multiple calls on this. Not only did I call it when it first came out, I also called it on this crazy dip. And now it's kind of just been kind of roughly holding here around that, 10 mil to like 6 mil range. I'm seeing a little bit of consolidation, it coming down just a little bit, where I feel it might give us a really good new entry point to maybe be able to position ourselves if you are not in this coin already. And what we have right now, it is roughly sitting here at the 6 mil range. Not a bad entry, but like always, we want ideal entries. Now, personally, I don't feel this coin will come down to 1.8 again, but I do feel it should theoretically give us this entry, which is at least this 4.7 mil entry. So somewhere around 4.5 to 5 mil, I think we get a chance to be able to get that entry again. This is where I would initially start my adding. Maybe we could possibly see it dip a little bit lower. And the lowest I think it dips will be to this 2.8 here. So anything around this range, I think anything, I'm actually going to say anything between 5 mil to that 2.8 mil range. I think it's a good bid zone. Now, the reason I like this coin is because I don't think this coin will eventually end up dying over like a month or 2 months. I think this is going to be prolonged. And the great thing about this is that what I'm noticing is that after it kind of gave this nice little resurgence that we had back here within the on the 26th, is that it's giving a big fan base. And not only that, it seems to be holding a very good amount of people who are not only shilling it or enjoying the coin. So I feel like it has a potential to keep going up, up, and up, and up without a very massive reversal. So what we're looking here, 5 mil, ideally 2.8 would be awesome, or 3 mil range. But I would definitely pay a lot of attention to this coin, okay? Other coin that's very, very similar to this one is HeavyPulp. And this one right here, kind of similar, just a little bit different, just that this one's a little bit newer. It ran up all the way to 4 million, came back down to like 380K, ran up back to a mil. Now it's kind of just been chilling here at this 490. I think this entry is good, but there's a possibility it could come down a little bit more. Okay, so it's not like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Is it going to go further? Ideally, this is a very good entry, but I think 320 would be like, okay, let's hope it comes down here. If it doesn't come down here, this range is actually pretty solid. Okay, so I'm going to say anything between 500K and 350. Pretty solid entry with a potential of doing this crazy run up again. All right, so just keep that in mind. There's always that potential that it could do that again. It's just all dependent on content, and I don't think this one's gonna die anytime soon because the content that first came out is actually pretty good. It's a little bit of a newer coin, but it's giving us a really good entry once again to be able to get it just a little bit. So 430 was beautiful. Right now it went back up to like almost 500, but 320 would be amazing. I still has really good potential. The next one I want to mention is called Distorted, and this is a little bit of a like one of those coins where you were like, man, I really wish I would have bought this early. And then you're like, dude, I bought that so high and it came down over here. The thing I am liking about the coin right now currently is that it seems that it was able to weather the storm of this massive dip and kind of hold this 600-700 to a million range. Right now it's consolidating around that 1 million range. I think with the amount of possibility that this won't eventually die, since it's theoretically a little coin, not little coin, sorry, a face within the iOS system, so people are going to be using this quite often. I think it could probably get a very nice resurgence. 1 mil is not a bad entry, but ideally you want to get it somewhere around here, around that 800 range. 1 mil would be, I'm going to take a gamble to see if maybe this is the time it runs up, but around that 800, 700K entry would be good to see. Maybe gets a new upsurge, maybe tries to test this 2 mil range. So you're kind of looking for like a 80 to 50 to maybe a 2x on this one. If it keeps getting chilled by like a big account, then we could maybe see it kind of resurge and pass all-time high. But right now, not a bad time to get in, but still pretty bullish on it just because it actually sustained that massive dip and people are actually holding it. All right. The next one we have is Lobstar. And guys, this one, as you guys know, we call that 240K with inside the Boltz Alpha. So if you guys are in the Boltz Alpha, these are the type of calls you get down here before they run up to like 15 mil. So if you guys are not in there, you guys are definitely missing out on, but every single day or every single week, nice 10Xs, 20Xs, 30Xs, every single week. So make sure you guys lock on in there if you haven't already. But right now, this has been kind of just messing around a little bit. It came down to 1.5. It ripped all the way to 6.5. It's consolidating, coming back down again. So what ranges are we looking for this one where it seems like it's going to be sustainable? Okay, so right now, we're kind of looking at this below 3 mil range. Ideal. I still think that with the amount of hype that the Lobstar currently has right now, still we have a potential of this keep going stronger and building a nice community. But this is not a bad bid zone. Ideally, my bid zone where I kind of want to get into, and I feel like maybe if you're not in it, you would probably want to get into, is somewhere here around that 1.9 to 2 mil range. That's ideally where you kind of want to get in there and kind of test it out. Still has a really good upside, but this is just all depends on how viral and how much more hype the Lobstar gets. Okay, so keep that in mind. The next one is another one we mentioned quite often, and this one we mentioned last week. We told you guys, listen, if you're able to get this between 3.5 and 3 million, that is the time you add. So for those of you who watched that video, you guys are already in it because we got that dip that we wanted, that 3.5, 3.2 mil, and it ripped all the way back to 4.8 on Wojak. Now, keep in mind that this is still not a bad entry, but it could come down and test that 3 mil range again just to mess around with it right here. So it could come back and test that 3.3, 3.2 mil. And that's where you probably want to get in. Or ideally, we're going to see this consolidation that happened here happen right here as well. So whether you want to get in it right now at 4 mil or within under 4 mil, that's up to you. But I still think this has a really good upside potential once the market corrects. Very similar to what I said last week on the video is as soon as the market gets corrected and we see market correction, I do think this coin will go back up. So 3.3 mil, very good entry. Right now it's sitting at 4.3, but you probably want to wait to see maybe it comes down below 3 again to maybe take a stab at this one again. Still, 4.3 is not a bad entry. Potentially in a good market, this could 10x from that 4. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Then we have Nobody, and this is one that I mentioned every single time because every single time it does the same thing, which is it comes to test this range here, and it gives you a nice potential 30 to 40%, and then you're able to buy back again at the same entry until potentially, I think with a great stable market, we should see this one give you a nice little 2x to a 3x. So you do want to keep that in mind. Very, very bullish coin in the sense that it survives every single dip. Okay, so that's what makes it very good, and it also comes back up. So the next coins I'm going to mention, these are a little bit more coins. We're going to mention one that's completely new, and then we're also going to mention some coins that are extremely old in the sense that they haven't been out for quite a long time, but they still have a potential of coming back up again. Okay, so the first one I want to mention, and this is one that I mentioned last week, and last week it did extremely beautiful because we caught it here within this kind of like 150 to 200 range, ran up to 600K and came back down. This is Aliens, and I think this one will still do really, really well as well due to the simple fact that we are going to be hearing a lot of stuff about aliens in the coming months. And basically what I've been doing with this coin is I just been adding anytime that it's been dipping, been adding. We actually call this inside Boltz Alpha extremely early too as well, like down here. So a lot of people made a lot of money on this one, but I still think the potential is pretty good. So what am I looking for here? 280 is not a bad entry. 233K is still not a bad entry. Ideally, if it comes down to 160, this is where I would add pretty heavy. But so I just don't miss the run, I would add anything between 280 and 230. I think it's an ideal option to actually add in here just in case this rips and we get some massive news about UFOs. There's a lot of information that's going to be coming out. So I just want to be in it early before it actually rips. And potentially this could 10x like overnight. So you just want to make sure you're in it and not missing out on this one. The next one is a little bit of a newer coin called Income, and this one in particular ran up to 2 mil recently, just like right now, Right now, it's coming back down, and that's why I wanted to mention it, because it is going to be the make or break of this coin, whether it establishes itself as a really, really good coin or it completely fades out. So what do we have right now? Ran up to 2 million, came down to 1.5. 1.5 is kind of like that test zone right now, where it's going to test to see it survives and how strong the narrative is. So 1.5 is not a bad entry here. 1.5, 1.6. But ideally, I want to get that 1.2 to that 1 mil range. So something around here between 1 mil and 1.2 comes down, it stables itself, and that's where I would probably add a little bit here and add a lot just to make sure it goes an upside. If this becomes a very bullish community and a very bullish coin, then that adding zone should theoretically gives us some nice excess here on income. Right now, if you just want to test it out, maybe this is kind of like the floor, which is 1.5 and 1.6. This is where you test a little bit, but you ideally want to add here within this 1.3 mil to that 1 mil range. Okay, that's where you kind of want to heavily add. The next one we have is another coin that I've been mentioning every single time before it had that 80 mil run, and that it's cards. And we had a beautiful, beautiful 40x on this coin when it first came out. But right now it's at 9 mil. It's been flirting around with 7.8, which is like around 8 mil range. This is kind of like where you want to get in at that 8 mil, 9 mil range. I think eventually, as long as there's more cards coming out, and as long as we have the Pokemon cards just kind of going up in value every single time, then this coin will theoretically do pretty good. Okay. And we will see new coins added to the ecosystem. But this is the kind of time you kind of want to consolidate, just because we're getting into the summertime coming very soon. And we just want to, in spring and summer, and we want to make sure that's usually when the coins start coming out. So we want to make sure we're in those coins as predominant as we possibly can. So when the coin goes up, we are actually making some profit. The next one we have is Giga, and this is the reason I'm mentioning this one is because it's come back down to the bottom again, which is this 19 mil range. So this is where you would potentially add a little bit. We got that nice crazy push back when the brand went public on Walmart. It got that nice little burst. Unfortunately, the market was so bad around that time that it didn't really push too many X's. But I think 19 mil to 17 mil is kind of where you want to look to add a little bit on this one. This has the potential, when the market corrects, that it should theoretically reverse a little bit, where it should give us a couple of X's. So really, really good bidding so here within that 19 mil range. The next one we have is Uranus, and this one, once again, the pioneer coin for Jupiter. Ran up to all the way to 80 mil. We actually caught this super duper low when it first came out. We had that 80x entry all the way to 80 mil, but right now it's back down to 1 point, that 1 point mil below 1 mil range. So it came down to 900. It came back up here around this 1 mil range. Definitely, it's something I would, think considering about adding a little bit here, just for the simple fact that this is the main runner for Jupiter. And whenever we get out of this kind of like where everybody's calling it a bear market, whenever we get out of that market, theoretically, we should see this kind of move up a little bit, a couple X's. So it is in a very good bidding zone. The next one we have is Spark, one coin that I mentioned every single time. And the reason I'm mentioning this coin every single time, almost in every video, is because I personally feel that I am going to be able to turn around and tell you guys, listen, guys, I literally mentioned this coin to you guys below a million, and look where it's at right now. And this is probably going to happen around Q3 and Q4. I hope I'm right. And once again, this is not financial advice, but that's just literally how I'm playing the game. And I think it's going to actually play out for me, which is in the sense of this coin actually ripping. So we're going to see what happens here. And hopefully I am right, and we could kind of make an update on this video. Be like, look, guys, it went from 600K all the way to 30 to 40 mil. I'm hoping I'm right. Okay. So hopefully if you guys have a good, some dust in there that you kind of just want to throw in there and let it ride for a couple months, this would be a very good ad to, in my opinion, to pick up. The last one I want to mention, guys, is called Lolcoin, and we actually called this coin super duper early when it first came out. Right now, it is below 100K, so sitting here at 100K. The lowest has been 72K, and this is one of those coins where I'm just kind of throwing a little bit of dust in there and seeing what it does. Okay, so this is one of those things where it's super risky. It theoretically might not even go anywhere. It might just keep coming down. But I am throwing some dust here on Lolcoin at between that 70K to 100K range, and seeing what it does. Does it go up a couple X's, 2X's, 3X's, 4X's? We're gonna have to find out and wait and see. But I think eventually it should do pretty decent. So that's all the coins for this week, guys, on Buy the Dip, Sell the Rips. Let me know if you're picking anyone up, and if you are, which one. In addition to that, guys, don't forget we stream every Tuesday and Thursday, giving you guys nice little 10x's, 5x's live on stream. But if you do want to do that every single day, Boltz Alpha's where it's at. Link down below to the Discord. Hope I see you guys there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.